Here's something most candidates don't realize. The company you're interviewing with determines everything about how you should prepare. We're a team from big tech and across different job profiles. We built Interviewed for one reason: to give people like you access to the best tools that maximize your chances of cracking your job interviews. Let me take a step back and break down the tech industry by engineering culture and approach. At the very top, you have the big tech giants: Google, Meta, and Apple. Just below them, you have companies like Amazon, Microsoft, Palantir, Uber, Netflix, and Stripe. And in the third tier, you find traditional companies such as Salesforce, Oracle, Adobe, and Intuit. I'm excluding AI-focused companies like NVIDIA and OpenAI and quant firms like Jane Street and Two Sigma from this video. Those deserve their own dedicated deep dive, and I'll cover them separately. Let me walk you through each tier, and I'll start from the third tier working up. In the third tier, you find robust and traditional businesses like Salesforce, Oracle, Adobe, and Intuit. They follow a top-down approach where features and priorities are pushed downward and executed by engineers with the help of product managers and program managers through various agile programs such as Scrum. Here's the reality. Execution is typically slow, and engineering quality varies a lot. There are very few companies in this cohort that focus on engineering excellence and invest in the best tools. But here's the critical gap. Teams often don't have OKR goals tied to business-critical metrics like engagement or revenue. What does this mean in practice? You're shipping features, but you may never know if they made a difference. The impact per engineer is very small and often not realized by people on the ground. But here's what people don't talk about enough: the positives of working at these companies. Work-life balance is genuinely better. You're not dealing with the pressure of launching features to hundreds of millions of users. You typically work reasonable hours, have predictable schedules, and can actually disconnect after work. The stability is real. These companies aren't chasing hypergrowth or facing the volatility of consumer tech. They have established business models, long-term customer relationships, and steady revenue streams. This translates to job security and less stress. Plus, the tech stack you learn is transferable. You're working with industry-standard tools like AWS, standard databases, and common frameworks. This makes your skills portable and valuable across the entire industry. The second tier includes Amazon, Microsoft, Palantir, Uber, Netflix, Airbnb, and Stripe. These companies occupy an interesting space between the largest tech giants and traditional enterprises. Let me start with Amazon, because their culture is quite distinctive. Amazon stands apart from other big tech companies due to several distinctive cultural and operational elements, most notably its intense focus on ingrained leadership principles and a strong emphasis on operational efficiency and execution, which reflects its retail heritage. It is a fast-paced, data-driven culture obsessed with customer experience. Amazon engineering teams operate with high autonomy and accountability, following a you build it, you own it full DevOps model. Teams are typically small, often described as two pizza teams, which own their microservice end-to-end, including the roadmap, building, and operation. Amazon maintains a document-heavy culture, where almost all meetings are highly structured and centered around a written 6-pager memo. A significant portion of the meeting is dedicated to silent reading, and the use of PowerPoint is strongly discouraged. Major criticisms include a demanding culture that often leads to burnout and poor work-life balance due to high operational load. Employees frequently cite a lack of appreciation and high turnover driven by a mandatory PIP culture. The other companies in this tier, like Palantir, Uber, Netflix, Airbnb, and Stripe, share similar characteristics. They're solving interesting problems at scale, but with more autonomy and less bureaucracy than the largest tech companies. They often combine public cloud infrastructure with custom tooling where it makes sense. They move fast and innovate constantly. At the very top, you have consumer-facing companies with huge user bases across their products: Google, Meta, and Apple. Let me break down what makes each unique. Apple is completely different, extremely secretive. Their projects are long-term and amazingly choreographed from the top down. There's strong emphasis on coordination among different teams: engineering, data science, infrastructure engineering, and product design. They come together to work on different features. And here's what's fascinating. Oftentimes, one team doesn't know what the other team is doing. It's kind of insane to think about it, but that's how they maintain secrecy and competitive advantage. On the contrary, Google and Meta share a different approach. Their focus is on driving impact through a bottoms-up culture. What does bottoms-up mean? Engineers find opportunities for themselves and for their teams depending on seniority. Those opportunities get prioritized, and product managers, engineers, and management ensure these projects align with company priorities. You have clear goals, clear metrics, and clear ownership of your impact. Google's massive scale required it to pioneer proprietary systems for fundamental engineering challenges. Engineers work with custom internal systems designed for planet scale rather than public cloud offerings or industry standard tools. Google is unique among major big tech companies in this approach. Meta operates similarly with massive infrastructure built for their family of apps serving billions of users. The scale these companies operate at fundamentally changes how you think about engineering problems. Both Meta and Google have giant mono repos. The code is still modular and well organized. Both companies' operational structure is based on product groups, which function much like standalone companies such as YouTube, cloud, monetization, platforms and devices, and knowledge and information at Google and FB, Instagram, WhatsApp, Reality Labs, monetization at Meta. Each group possesses great independence in setting their own goals, priorities, and work cadences. This means an engineer's experience can differ significantly depending on which specific team and group they join. Now let me dive into both companies' engineering culture. Meta and Google are the most engineering-centric companies in all of big tech. The level of empowerment and freedom engineers have is remarkable. What's even more incredible is that this culture has persisted as the company grew to tens of thousands of employees. Impact is everything at Meta. It's been the bread and butter since the early days. Engineers own their impact entirely. They're expected to take autonomy, define their own requirements, and deliver what they think will have the highest impact. But this intense focus on individual impact created problems. People chase short-term, measurable wins. Teamwork wasn't always rewarded. Meta has the loosest processes of any big tech company. Don't even compare it to Amazon's formal processes. Even compared to Google or Microsoft, Meta's approach is far less structured. Engineers generally dislike processes, and the company respects that. Now, here's the double-edged sword of Meta's culture. The performance system feels individualistic to many engineers. You have to pick your battles carefully. Engineers tend to prioritize only the work they know will contribute to their personal goals, which they've set in advance. Others sense that two people contributing to one feature dilutes the impact. It's better for each individual to own a feature entirely. Cross-functional work matters significantly. Engineers can claim major impact by leading efforts across multiple teams. If you identify a need, bring people together, and get something done, it contributes heavily to your performance review. Another major difference is the experimentation culture at Meta, Google, and a few other companies with massive consumer products. Every service and feature is heavily instrumented. As an engineer, you have complete visibility into how your feature performs. Engineers typically take metric-based goals and run multiple experiments. Most experiments don't pan out as intended during A/B testing, so you iterate. You run multiple variations, refine your approach, and release what actually moves the needle. This data-driven approach fundamentally changes how you think about building products. You're not shipping features and hoping for the best. You're measuring, learning, and iterating based on real user behavior. As a new grad, if you're looking to join one of these companies, big tech is obviously a huge opportunity. But here's what I want you to understand. Don't be disappointed if you end up joining companies from other tiers. There are positives and negatives for each. In traditional and third-tier companies, you're working on commonly used tech stacks. That knowledge you're building is transferable. If you learn AWS, Kubernetes, React, and standard databases, you can take those skills anywhere. This is valuable for your long-term career mobility. You'll also have a better work-life balance. But nonetheless, working at Meta and Google will bring invaluable experience in large-scale system design and impact. Building features for 1 billion users comes with its own unique challenges. Now let's talk about the impact of AI in these companies. This is huge. Big tech companies are fast to embrace AI. Almost all engineers are playing with AI tools. According to the latest reports, up to 50, 60, even 70% of the code is now generated by AI. Some engineers are using AI extensively to generate code and then verifying whether that code is accurate or not. A lot of AI platforms and agentic tools are being built at these companies to aid in wide adoption across the company. This year is going to be massive in terms of how we do our work. In traditional companies, they're slow to adopt AI. That's generally the trend. And it's partly because of the industry they're in, which is often heavily regulated. If you have enterprise customers, you cannot accidentally release a bug and impact your high-paying customers. The risk is too high. In general, engineers are reluctantly embracing AI because most don't understand the value yet. It's not traditional coding. It's a different form of software engineering. You're writing prompts, asking AI to generate code, then verifying it. Tools like Cursor or Claude Code can run in the background, creating pull requests. You're becoming more of an orchestrator and reviewer rather than typing every line yourself. But it's inevitable that AI will have a major impact across different roles, not just engineering. On the product side, some companies have encouraged or even enforced product managers to embrace AI. Instead of creating PowerPoint presentations, they're using AI tools to create MVPs. Product managers who traditionally couldn't code are now able to prototype their ideas in actual working code. On the data side, tools are being built to pull data from multiple sources, build charts, and generate insights. Data analysts are becoming significantly more productive with AI assistance. This year is going to be a big step change in how companies, especially big tech companies, work. I foresee that it will lead to massive productivity increases. Here's an interesting prediction. Layoffs may not be as extensive as people fear. Why? Because at these companies, we have a huge backlog at any given point in time. If we had more engineers, we could take on more work. Now with AI, we can be 2 to 3 times more productive. The impact per engineer is going to increase significantly. So instead of layoffs, we might see companies maintaining their headcount but dramatically increasing output. That said, hiring will probably slow down, especially for entry-level positions. There will be a higher bar for people to get into these companies. Why? Because AI agents can do the work that previously required multiple junior engineers. Companies will be more selective, focusing on people who can leverage these tools effectively from day one. My suggestion to everyone looking to join tech companies is this: learn these tools and come to these interviews well prepared. You may not get multiple shots at these opportunities. The competition is fierce and the bar is rising. That's exactly why we built Interviewed, to give you all the tools to better prepare for these interviews and maximize your chances of getting in. Want to nail your next big interview? With our platform, you pick the role and the company, and our AI handles the rest. It conducts a live, virtual interview tailored specifically to that company's actual questions and hiring standards. You'll feel the real-time pressure and the timing of a true interview. And the best part? You get immediate, actionable feedback the second the call ends. In my subsequent videos, we'll talk about specific companies, what they're looking for, their engineering cultures. We'll go deep into the interview types and how you can prepare for each one. If you find this video interesting and think we should continue posting more content, please like and subscribe to this channel. Let us know in the comments what kind of videos you'd like to watch in the future. Your feedback helps us create content that's actually useful for you. Thank you for watching, and a very happy new year.